What's good, people? Welcome to another edition of Politrick, right here on the Got What You Need Network, available on Apple Podcasts, YouTube. Um, Today, we're going to talk about what's going on at Delaney Hall, in Newark, New Jersey. It's a ICE detention facility, and there's some major allegations about conditions, treatment, due process that um take a little time to discuss today. Um, there was also an incident where the New York Giants quarterback Jaxon Dart decided that he would not only attend a Trump rally, but he would actually introduce um, the president. So that led to some things as well. Um, the president even decided to try to start a fund to pay the January 6th rioters money, like restitution for like um, unlawful prosecution, and they were found guilty. So there's some things happening with that, and it won't be as easy for them to get their money as they first thought. And let's start it off with this Freedom 250 concert. So this year is supposed to be, well, is the 250th anniversary of the United States, signed Declaration of Independence. Now, originally, Congress was supposed to put together a committee to put together a celebration for, for this, I guess to commemorate the 250th anniversary, and I don't know why I'm getting stuck and tongue twisted over that, but I apologize. But just like everything, this president has to have his name on everything. He has to be involved with everything. Everything has to be about him. So somebody from his team reached out to a bunch of like D-list acts. I mean, we talking the Commodores, no disrespect to them, but Commodores, um, what was it? Vanilla Ice, Young MC. Uh, I'm trying to think of some others, but I mean, Boris Day and the Time, and they all backed out except for Vanilla Ice. And the reason they backed out is because when they were approached by the Trump administration, they were told that they would be part of what was called um, America 250 celebration, which would have been the congressional one. And instead, and that one is supposed to be nonpartisan and just a celebration of the United States and everything like that. Nothing political about it. The Trump event is Trump themed, and the people that reached out to these acts lied and deliberately withheld information so that these acts would say yes. Once they realized that they were going to be a part of a political event, all of them backed out, and therefore the Trump administration had no choice but to cancel the event, and now he's announced that it will now be a rally. But let's move on because we got a lot more important stuff to get to. So down there's this slush fund that the president put together by first strong arming the IRS into a settlement, which has also been paused because it's like you can't go to court against the department you can control and then work out a settlement. Like, and the fact that they even attempted to do it is just more of an indication about how dumb he think his followers are. He don't care about us because he'll just say, "Oh, we have Trump deranged syndrome and all this type of stuff or whatever. Oh, they just don't like me or whatever." But he's counting on his followers to like really go along with this nonsense. And my thing is, all of his followers weren't there on January 6th. And you want those people you watched on TV beat up police officers that you say you protect the blue and support the blue or whatever to now get payment or whatever. So kudos to the judge who put a stop to that. Kudos to a bunch of Republicans that with all the other stuff that you haven't done to save this country, at least you have a bottom. And you're basically like, nah, this ain't gonna happen. And kudos to California, and New York so far, who basically said, and if anybody from their state gets any payment from this fund, it'll be taxed 100%. So, yeah, I'm glad that people are taking action against just stupidity, for lack of a better term, for what's going on. Ah, New York Giants quarterback Jaxon Dart thought that it would be a good idea, um, to not only attend a Trump rally, but to introduce him. I believe it was an event, with also Congressman Mike Lawler, up in Rockland County. So, I guess once the video, was posted, um, his teammate Abdul Carter said, "Wow, this is really what we're doing." Now, right on cue, it was all of the, "Wow, uh he can't have a political view that's different from you without you disrespecting him," and all this type of stuff. And Abdul Carter was like, "Nah, if he's gonna align himself with the thing with Donald Trump and what Donald Trump is about, it's my duty to say that I'm not with that, and I'm totally against that. And if it's okay for him to publicly, be political and state his views and where he stands, then people can't get mad when he decides to do the same." And I thought, Abdul Carter was the adult in the situation, and not calling Jackson Dart a child, but very immature, very brain dead, very tone deaf. You're the quarterback in New York City, and you can't. You're that much of that brain dead, that much of an airhead that you couldn't read the room that this was going to be problematic. And I'm not saying problematic from a team standpoint. They got jobs to do, man, and they want to win. And I'm not saying that people aren't going to do their jobs or whatever. But anybody who's publicly supporting Donald Trump with the Epstein stuff, um, this war that his reasoning and, his assessment constantly changes, based on the day or based on what he thinks his followers want to hear. Um, the economy, our relationships with like our allies that we've had for 50, 60 years, that he's basically just blown up because he doesn't like them and he wants to do, Vladimir Putin's bidding. And listen, when I say Vladimir Putin's bidding, he's a monster. He's a former KGB operative or whatever. Um, but he's also, one of the few that has at least put a kind of a what would you call it, a limit to the power that the United States and that other country has in the UN. And so for all of, I guess, Trump doing Putin's bidding, it doesn't seem that Putin wants to do Trump's bidding, and it seems to be a very one-sided relationship. But it is what it is. One of the most important things going on right now is what's going on at Delaney Hall. This is a ICE detention facility, and it's located in Newark, New Jersey. There's currently a hunger strike going on there. The allegations, well, I guess the conditions that are contributing to the hunger strike are bad living conditions, spoiled food, raw and uncooked food. And they're also saying that there is being retaliatory and retribution seek against those that are taking part in the hunger strike. Because of this, it's produced protests outside the facility in which not only ICE, but New Jersey State Troopers have, and I've seen it with my own eyes on video on accounts that I trust that aren't pushing propaganda, and they're using tear gas and rubber bullets with no clear direction or no clear rule into what the protesters can do and what they can't do. It's like they'll allow them to protest for a minute, and then without any warning, any type of communication, they'll just start moving the perimeter back, therefore creating a conflict and then justifying the use of um, harsher methods and more force. And our governor, Mikey Sherrill, like I lay this directly at her feet. You're the governor of this state. What do you mean you are only given limited access to that place? Then you should go in with the state troopers and take it over. And then 6 to 7 hours after you leave, you send the state troopers in to then attack the protester that you were just standing with. Like how cowardly of you to do something like that. And then, in the days after, you replace the state troopers with Newark police because, they so-called have a better relationship with the community. Okay, cool. But then I see them attacking protesters, hitting them with rubber bullets, beating them up, hitting them with tear gas, literally just standing in the gate to the facility, just shooting rubber bullets at protesters that aren't violent in any shape, any way, shape, or form. But one of the things that really bothers me is the MAGA people that are out at these protests saying, well, we're out here to support the president, we support the facility. And it's like you could be the most staunch supporter of immigration. You could be the most staunch advocate for stopping illegal immigration, all of that kind of stuff. But you're going to tell me that you don't care if it's done right? I thought the whole thing about ICE was getting these people, um, getting them processed, and those that could stay, and then those that can't have to be deported. But instead, we have a situation where it's just about detention and cruelty. We have verified reports that female children that are in ICE custody are pregnant. We have verified reports that some ICE officers were using sex as like a bargaining chip for adult women to see their children. And somehow these things are celebrated. I just talked about horrible living conditions, maggots in the food, um, raw, uncooked, spoiled. And then the response from Homeland Security and what's his name, Mark Wayne Mullen, I guess he's the interim director. Oh, they just want their ethnic food. Once again, when did like cruelty become all that we're about? Like, once again, if you feel like, if you truly feel like, hey, you either come here the right way or you gotta go. I don't agree with that, but I understand that. But don't you even want the method or methods taken to fulfill your wishes to be done the right way? Like, I couldn't imagine my family member calling me and saying, hey, I haven't eaten in 2 weeks. The food they feeding us, they trying to kill us or make us sick. We sleeping on the floor. It's either too cold or too hot. It's no um, climate control in there. These are some of like the most horrible conditions. And then I go up to that facility trying to visit, gain access to my family member, only to be violently told I can't, but then look across the street and to see people celebrating that. Like, what is it about cruelty against black and brown people that is just so vogue, so par for the course, so celebrated by so many people? These same people have a "Don't Tread on Me" flag on their property and all this kind of stuff. But if the government overreach and cruelty is against people that you don't like, then it's like, ah, well, that's cool then. I, I just don't understand, like, why this is okay for so many people. Like, why do we even have detention centers where people are being housed for more than the time it takes to decide whether their request for asylum has been approved or denied? And to me, once that happened, they shouldn't be shipped to Uganda and El Salvador and in these places where the United States is basically selling these people to other countries. They should be deported. They should either be allowed to self-deport or be deported back to the country in which they originated. But instead, we're deporting U.S. citizens back to countries they never even lived in before. Where we have two U.S. citizens um, that were shipped to Africa. Like, I'm gonna say this again. For anybody that feels like they have to be this staunch supporter of immigration because you feel like they're the ones that makes your life bad. You're wrong, but cool. But the way that this has been mishandled by this administration should bother everyone. We had the alligator Alcatraz nonsense down in Florida that they had to close down. The state of Florida doesn't get any of that money back. The environmental damage that they done, a lot of it won't be able to be reversed. So, those within the sound of my voice, it seems like we're headed towards um, another Minneapolis situation in Newark, New Jersey, and every day the violence gets worse. Every day our governor seems weaker and weaker. Um, I want to bring up the mayor, Ross Baraka, but I understand why he's not there. He currently has a lawsuit going on against him. Like, there's no reason for him to, like, he went there to visit. And they threw him to the ground, arrested him, and then lied on him. He was one of the first out there to say, if you're going to have this facility here, then we need real congressional oversight. Every member of Congress is supposed to have the right to have access to those ICE facilities at any time they want, and it doesn't supposed to be announced. And the Trump administration is blatantly violating that. And once again, even if you are for getting all the illegals out, if they're doing the right thing, why is the oversight being denied? I'm going in here. There's a lot of people going along with this, laughing, oh, you just mad, MAGA's winning and whatever, whatever. A lot of y'all gonna have to wear that you look the other way at pedophilia. A lot of you are either gonna have to deal with the fact that you decided that since I don't want to know some of the bad things that the president did, I won't even pay attention to the Epstein file. Some of you know you read some of the most horrible things imaginable in life that the president is being accused of, and you decided that since he hates the people that you hate, you look the other way. A lot of you gonna have to deal with watching his name get taken off of stuff like the Kennedy Center. Imagine a sitting president being so gassed on himself that he decided to illegally put his name on a living memorial of another former president. And then saying, I'm gonna close it down and then I'm gonna renovate it and make it to more of my liking. And the thing that so many board members went along with it. I get it. You were threatened and you were paid or whatever, but at some moment, have some pride. And at what moment is enough going to be enough? The racism isn't enough. The constant, like, just attack on black people aren't enough. The attack on the Latina community isn't enough. The attack on women's reproductive rights is constantly under attack. Then we're at a war at the request of another country. We're at war with a country that posed no threat to us. We're at war with a country that is fighting us with weapons we sold to them. The Strait of Hormuz was open. Iran and Oman never thought about the fact that it's basically off of their territorial waters and they could um, charge funds to go through. And so the United States did what they did. And now the Strait of Hormuz is closed. Gas companies is getting over on us because the gas that's already at the stations has already been bought and paid for at the prices bought and paid for. So there's no reason for the prices to immediately go up. But once they see unrest, they get the gouge the prices, and who pays? The consumer. And there's no special mega gas stations or grocery stores or whatever. But once again, as long as he's being mean to people that they don't like, they'll deal with paying more. For a minute, I'm seeing more videos come out of people whining and crying or whatever, but we'll see. So people, I'm not gonna say wake up because I know we're all woke and we're all trying to figure this thing out or whatever. But and I'm not telling anybody to go out and and physically protest if that's not what you want to do. But you do have to start making phone calls, emails, getting groups together to do these things and to pressure your congressional representatives that they have to do more. Don't forget to support the other great podcasts on this network. We talking the Black Male Podcast. We talking with E, Life and Love, as well as the Encourage and Inspire podcast. But this is Politrick with your boy Sky. That's my time, and I'm out. Peace.